Dude, what are you doing?
Oh, it's the Cuban influencer routine. You haven't seen it? It's gone mega viral.
The morning routine?
Yeah, it's my morning routine. I do this every morning. I chant into a cup of Cuban coffee and give my aspirations.
Oh, that's
Wanna
pretty
try
cool. Absolutely.
Hit it. Doesn't sound like you did aspirations. It sounds like you were gargling something.
I did.
Oh, cool.
I aspire to be a professional gargler.
That's really good. I think you can do it. I think you got legs.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. So I know we're at this point, by the time this podcast drops, we're a couple weeks late, and we all know how the social media cycle.
Yeah, you guys probably forgot about this already.
But yeah, morning routine guy. We've all seen it.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, please
Say
tell me
his
the name
name.
of the rock that you're living under. I'd love to go visit you sometime.
Hanging out with Patrick Starr.
But anyway, most people have seen it. I think the video has like, if I'm not mistaken, like 600 million views or something insane, like mega viral, like through the stratosphere. But it was this influencer who has this ridiculous morning routine, wakes up at 4 a.m. and then for like the next 5 hours does absolute.
Oh, congrats, bud. You woke up at 4 a.m. to do nothing. 4 hours of nothing. It's crazy how viral it got that it's become synonymous with you see this, like you guys saw this.
It's the best thing that could have happened to these people inadvertently.
You guys see this and you're automatically like, oh, these guys are doing the morning routine thing.
But anyway, the reason we're doing this episode is obviously it's very easy to dunk on this guy and just like talk smack about it. But I think there's a much more interesting conversation to be had about the performative effect of social media and what these influencers are doing to get attention or for God knows what.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to talk about today.
There's a one-man show that he put on there. A complete side note, you know what the most viral video on TikTok is?
The most right now or ever?
Ever.
The most viral?
It has billions, I think 13 billion.
The most
Don't quote me the
viral
number.
video, and I know it?
No, nobody knows it. It's
Then how would I answer this?
It's a black screen. It's just a black screen.
Is it the black guy doesn't talk?
No, it's just a black screen. So that should tell you what kind of things. Oh, Kabi. That should kind of tell you what kind of things can go viral. It's like the most viral video on the planet right now is just a black screen.
How about an Asian guy with a big butt just ever so slightly shaking it?
I mean, it has legs.
I think so.
You want to try?
It has calves too.
Yeah. Romulus. Look at him. Oh! So Victor and Julian here, your favorite podcasting brothers. We're here in BFit Miami Lakes. The BFit brothers, you know us. Get our merch at our website, which we're going to link down here. That thing is live, right?
Hope it's ready by then.
Nah, it's definitely ready. Come on, get out of here. Today we're discussing Emma's feet. All right, now what? Now what?
People will pay for that.
No way. Well, yeah.
Giant feet?
Giant
Disproportionately giant feet? Yeah,
True.
Absolutely.
I don't have giant feet. They're like average, but I'm not short, so.
Okay, I'm
They're
gonna
not
put the picture of you
They're
standing
not
me and Cricket
average.
right here.
Maybe they're average
cropped
in
one.
maybe they're average in Scandinavia where they're all like 6 feet tall.
I'll eat spaghetti with my own feet if you're paying me. Guys, with that being said,
Who would pay you for that? All right, so the video itself, do we have to describe it? Has everyone pretty much
just
seen it by
describe it
now?
really quick. Give it a quick.
From what I remember, he wakes up, he has like a nasal strip on. It's like 3:59 a.m.
Yeah.
He made sure to not do 4 a.m., 3:59 a.m. I think he goes out on his balcony, looks into the abyss.
Okay, this is too much. Faster. He wakes up and does. Just say that.
Yeah.
He wakes up, dunks his face into this.
Yes. So that's
Rubs
why
a banana peel, right?
That's why the Saratoga this is very important because he makes sure to have the Saratoga in a glass. We couldn't get the glass because we're cheap.
We didn't even buy this one. Somebody just brought it.
And dumps his face in it and there's always like a person handing him things, like some sort of assistant, not his wife or girlfriend.
No, it's an assistant. It has assistant vibes.
So anyway, he does a lot of things, and I just the fact that we're even talking about it is giving him even more exposure.
Of course.
Like he needs it. Probably made a ton of money just from the exposure
Now
itself.
he's getting our 100 views.
But I think the idea is that there's been this like ramping up of these self-improvement, fitness / like lifestyle motivation, business, entrepreneurship gurus, and they've just like escalated every year with social media, and they're just taking it to the next and the next and next level. Like, I mean, I've heard for many years of people waking up really early and like getting after it, doing workouts, things like that, but never have I seen somebody spend 4 hours in their quote unquote morning routine.
Yeah, in the morning routine that you don't really do anything. The guy's claiming that he does all these things, but it's like,
Well, it's not that he doesn't do anything in his mind. He's taking all the things, like, because people recommend journaling, meditation,
Getting your workout in.
exercise, cold plunge, like all those are things that people do in the morning. But you're gonna do them like all of them.
no, and
on
like
the same.
4 a.m. and like, I don't know, it just seems so disingenuous. That's the biggest problem I have with it. It seems like such a performance.
But how much of social media is performative, and that's I think the interesting conversation to be had here. I would argue a lot of it.
I say nowadays, especially from like influencers, quote unquote, not your friend circle, like 95%.
Even your
of it.
friend circle,
It's like, why'd you say like that?
though. I don't know. That's how I talk.
That's how I talk. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think a lot of people, even if their lives are kind of like in shambles, or they don't have everything necessarily together, will put themselves out there, put their better life, quote
Absolute
unquote.
best
Yeah.
highlight reels. Like
Yeah.
if you take 250 pictures on a night out or on a trip, you'll post your absolute best one. Which, that to be fair,
Yeah,
that's what you
that's
do.
what you wanna do,
right?
yeah.
But then okay, I should say it this way: if you took 250 pictures and none of them came out the way that you'd hope, then you don't post any.
What I think is the bigger problem is people that are just being, because it's fine to take your best picture. Like we all want to be
course.
seen at our best. What bothers me is when you're disingenuous. Let's say you had a terrible night, you went to a party you didn't like, you didn't have fun, but you post a picture like, oh my God, great night. Like these type of things, like I've seen people post a picture with their significant other or something, and I was there with them and I was like, dude, you didn't even look at each other twice. Like what do you?
I think what's
what is this
even
facade
worse
you're putting on?
is when you said disingenuous, the first thing that came to mind is the people that Photoshop themselves.
Oh no, but that's a whole
but
different.
that's disingenuous.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's a
just
whole
straight up
different avenue.
lying now.
That's a whole different, like, that's not even just putting your best self forward. That's trying to sell something that you're
It's
not.
not even yourself.
That's not even
Somebody
you.
else.
Yeah, that's freaking.
There's a guy online that we both follow that his whole thing is exposing fitness people who
Yeah.
lie about their physique.
Google.
And he'll take your picture and he'll like zoom it in and be like, that line,
the
that
warps.
straight line
Yeah.
behind you that's supposed to be a wall, look at how it warps and it curves. That
And-
means that you made your waist smaller.
And he gets criticism because it's like people are like, why are you doing this? Aren't you supposed to be making people feel good about themselves? But all you're doing is like shitting on people. So how does that help? And his argument, which is true, is you're selling your fake body, especially when you're trying to help somebody. It's like if you're trying to sell a lie to them, basically, because you're saying, hey, look, you can get like me, but I don't even look like I.
It's like saying, here I am driving this Lamborghini because I have all this money, so you should buy my
Yeah,
course, but
exactly.
I rented the Lamborghini.
Exactly. You're selling false promises.
Exactly. I love that there's people like that.
Same.
I love that there's people calling other people out. However, I saw somebody criticize the people calling people out because it's become a whole thing of all these influencers calling each other out.
Yeah.
And then it could be a little too much, and then they start fighting over insignificant
The minutia.
things. But when it comes to straight up lying to your audience, I absolutely think that there's room for people like this that exposes people. But anyway,
Absolutely.
back to this guy.
Can we take this out of here already?
Yeah, get it out. Here's what I want to know. Is he serious? Is this like parody, or is he actually trying to like show off that this is how disciplined I am? What do you think?
I
honestly.
hadn't even processed that he could be lying, that he could be like acting and trying to be quote unquote satirical. I think he really is that self-serious, and I think a lot of these people are really that like self-absorbed and serious that people care about my morning routine. They want to see what I do because I'm this guy. Like,
But when you say serious, you don't think that he actually does this every morning,
no,
right? I
no,
just
no,
think
no,
that
no. I think that's how he wants to be perceived.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's putting it out there as I really do this.
Yeah.
He doesn't, but he thinks that it's gonna make him like basically elevate his status.
Exactly. What he really does is probably, I'm just assuming here, don't freaking kill the messenger. What I'm assuming he actually does is just do a regular workout routine, take steroids, and not pay his apartment in Brickell.
Oh, calling him out.
I'm just saying
Pull it
that's what I
up.
think. 'Cause that's a
Pull it up on the screen.
we are from Miami. This is a Miami staple. Like, this is something that happens here all the time. You see people posting on their friend's balcony pretending it's theirs. Like, this is just something that happens here, guys. If you're not from here or like LA or New York, you probably wouldn't understand. It's just something that we do. Well, we
Yeah.
don't, but the Bricklers. It's my second time calling out Brickell, by the way.
Yeah, you have a thing. This guy has a thing against
Come on,
Brickell.
Brickell. Put him
I do
up.
too. I wouldn't go
Put him
there
up.
if you paid me.
Put him on Brickell.
Anyway, now let's move on to who is this for? Like, what? Let's really dig into. You're this guy and you post this. Like, who are you trying to target here?
I'm laughing because before we did this, I went to his page, which I had never seen before. I went to his page and I see how many people I had follow him because my instinct was
Oh
coming here
boy,
and
call him
go.
out. Let's go. Who's following
And
him?
also, but really, I did that because I was gonna come in here and say, I don't know anybody that follows the guy. I don't know anybody that do something
do.
so dumb. I know 25 people that follow him. Sure, some of them are
I'm
celebrities.
sure you know more people than me.
Some of them are celebrities, not celebrities, but like other influencers, which that's like just a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of game.
Yeah,
We follow each
absolutely.
other. There's no real interest there. But the other people that I saw, the underlying theme was either
Stupidity. I'm kidding.
I'm leaving that. Was either you fall for these big like scam type of things, like oh no, I believe it. These type of guys are a little more gullible, or the guy in his 40s, 50s, not believe it. I know you thought it was young people. The guy in his 40s and 50s that post pictures of like two wolves, with like inside you there are two wolves. Get after it today. Rise and grind. One of those guys.
To be fair, this guy, the reason I heard of him first, which was way before this, again, I don't follow him, but I've heard of him, is because he would post these really high quality
Running?
videos running
Yeah.
towards the camera. And first of all, the guy's
He's
built,
jacked. He's jacked.
has incredible genetics. Like his
Yeah.
arms are insane. They almost look like they're too big for his body. But he's sprinting full speed,
Yeah.
shirtless, like, whoa, wow, wow, wow. And it's, you know, can't look away from a video like that. So he would post some like some fitness content and like some hit stuff, you know, not my vibe necessarily, and I don't really agree with like what he posts, but I can see why people, you know, he's the epitome of what does well on Instagram. The
Yeah.
visuals, the aesthetics,
Nice
the high
camera.
quality, exactly. So, but then now it's gone to the point where it's escalating, and I don't know if you saw his account, but now he's calling himself a trendsetter. It's like, so he's posting before and after, and he's like, you know, I went from, you know, being broke to like trendsetter now with my morning routine.
I don't know if you've seen the video of him talking in his car. I don't know if it's his car.
Where
It's
he's
like a
saying-
Rolls Royce, and you know it has the logo here in the back of the seat.
Ah, classic.
He's leaning forward like that to talk to the camera with no need, just to show the logo.
Is that the one where he's complaining that people are
I haven't
copying
seen
him?
the video.
Oh, okay,
I'm not
okay.
watching that bullshit. But it's him leaning forward so you can see the logo of the car, and he'll go back in and he'll lean again. It's like, we get it, dude. You're trying to portray this image.
But the guy has 11 million followers, so who are those people? Is this just like the people that like follow, I don't know, for lack of a better example, like Liver King or Kim Kardashian? I don't know.
I don't want to say
Is it where it's just like,
I
I
don't
know.
want to say it. 11 million
Idiot
idiots.
America.
11 million idiots.
There's a lot of idiots in the world.
God.
That kind of thing.
God.
Let's see something. Look, let's do this and leave this on. But what I want to do is
Leave it in.
I want to see this guy's comments because that's going to tell us a lot about
Yeah, but once you get that big, the problem is
12.4 million. This guy's just going up like this. I looked at his last week. I looked at his account. He was at 9 point something million. Look at him now, 12.4. Okay, so what I want to see. Okay, let's see the comments. Haha, bro, went back in time.
those are the ass kissers. I don't want to
God-
see anybody with a check mark.
God
Those are
is
ass kissers.
good. There's a God is good here.
Agreed.
Okay, this one, bro spends the whole day getting ready for the next. That's a good one. That's not a compliment. Keep elevating, bro.
Those are ass kissers. I don't want to see anything of that.
Okay,
And if
okay.
they have a check mark, I don't want to see it. Because those check
super
marks
dope.
are
No.
the curated guy that is trying to kiss the ass of the higher curated guy. Like, no, I don't want to see that. I want to see genuine followers.
Oh, I only got 10 people following him, so
Who are
10
they?
of my
Let
people.
me see who they are. Of course. That's the guy that I was thinking of with the lion mentality.
Of course, this guy.
Of course.
Oh,
Douchebag.
oh,
Douchebag.
you yelled us. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And you see a lot of check marks.
Wow. Interesting.
Interesting. Fascinating data we just gathered.
The reason I think this is interesting is because nobody really questions these things, but I think it is at least important to have the discussion of like why, like what is social media getting to? Where are we at on that like time scale of when it started, which we were posting pictures of our lunch and like some unedited picture of whatever was in front of you, to now the lengths that people are going through for attention, because let's face it, attention is now very scarce. So
Attention is the new currency, they're saying.
Yeah.
That's what people say. It's like attention is the new oil. Like if you strike attention, you basically hit a gold mine.
And I do think a lot of people think back to that old PR thing of like no press is bad press,
Yeah.
where it's like I can do absolutely anything,
Yeah.
whether it's good, bad, controversial.
I call
Actually,
it-
controversial is better.
I call it the Tekashi 6ix9ine effect. When he blew up, it was a whole curiosity thing. Like, who's this guy with the tattoos on his face, the rainbow? He's a douchebag. Nobody could deny he was a douchebag.
Yeah.
And he was like this unlikable persona. But guess what? He blew up. He was making number ones because of, like you said, there's no bad PR, I guess, in this day and age.
Yeah, I mean, I think that an example who took that too far is Kanye now.
Well,
Where now,
I think he's just.
you think he's just off the...
Yeah, I don't think he's doing it for attention. I think really is just too far gone.
I think he's sincerely,
I think he's
mentally,
mentally unstable.
unwell.
Whereas Tekashi, I feel like was a curated, planned persona type of thing. Might have been a
Okay.
little bit of a douchebag,
Okay.
but also like to an exaggerated extent. And I'll tell you where we are in social media. We're at the place that I hate the most, and it's why I'm not active, and it's why I don't like any of this, because we are in this fake space of, like you said, a perfectly planned camera with the guy oiled up and a script and this and that. And that's not what I want for my social media. If I wanted that, I would go watch Netflix, or I would go watch a show. I don't want to see this nobody doing this BS routine that I don't care about with a very highly edited camera. Like, it's
to that point, I do want to end this podcast by talking about how I think that the future is going away from that. I think that we're actually trending towards authenticity and like a less polished look.
I was thinking that, but then things like this happen, and
They're always gonna
earth
get
is shattered.
They're always gonna get it's the 15 minutes of fame thing. They're going to blow up. Everybody's curious about it, but like, look, nobody that we know really ended up following him after finding out who he was. We didn't have any interest. We're just like, who is this clown? Okay, whatever. All right, next, on to the next thing. I can't believe I wasted 45 seconds watching that. But I do think like actual, I don't want to say influencers, but influential personalities are going to be more like Sam Sulik, which is, I just put the camera in front of me and I'm real with you. I don't even edit it. This is just who I am, or I know a lot about the subject. I'm not going to even try to polish this too much. I'm not going to get a film crew. It's just me and my phone. And I think that a lot of people are going to grab it because they're sick of it. We're all sick of it.
Yeah.
We're sick of the, like, oh, really?
And
Like,
if you've been on social media long enough, you can tell when somebody's being disingenuous and when somebody's being we kind of have a filter for that nowadays.
absolutely. And I'm going to be honest, like, in my own, I used to be way more active on social media. Dare I say, a little bit of an influencer myself. And I was definitely guilty of posting the absolute, trying to, like, one-up myself and trying to post something that basically just for views
We
and
both
exposure.
were doing crazy things that we would never regularly do. It was just
crazy, impressive things
take a
for the
video of this.
gram.
Yeah, take a
literally
video
just
of
for the
this.
gram. And nowadays, obviously I don't do that to that extent anymore, but I still there's always at least a question of how much, how polished do I want this to look? How, like...
Yeah, because you're an aesthetic guy at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I like things to look like people make fun of me all the time when we do our fitness challenges because my plates of food have
like
to
a
look a
magazine.
certain way, and if it doesn't look a certain way, then I won't post it. But it's like how much of that versus like real, raw, maybe a little bit unflattering, maybe a little bit of talking about a subject that people don't talk too much about, or is a little bit makes you a little bit more vulnerable. So I am very conscious of that, and I still struggle to like only want to post my highlights because who wants to expose themselves like that in front of hundreds or thousands of people?
Yeah, people are jerks, let's be honest. So you post something vulnerable, you're gonna have, let's say, like 90% support, but that 10%, I don't know why humans are like this. That's what really like sticks to you, and it's hard to put yourself in that position, to put yourself in like somewhere vulnerable. Like I remember when we would post a lot of pictures, it was like chicken legs, and it's like a bunch of people complimenting you, but then like one person will be like, oh, you have chicken legs.
Yeah, somebody skipped leg
And
day.
it's like, well, damn, that one kind of stings. So like, who's willing to go to put themselves through that? It's not an easy route.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely takes some thick skin. And I think being conscious of the fact that if you do say something vulnerable or make yourself vulnerable, then you are opening yourself to criticism. And that's why I think people like you you're like, I'm just going to opt out. Like, I don't want to people judging my life.
I don't even care about that. I just don't I don't care to share with you. That's my MO with social media. I don't care. You don't care about. If you cared about me, we'd talk more. You know what I mean?
We should do a whole podcast on that because that's really interesting. So back to like the target audience and the people who follow people like this. Do you think it's mostly men because men fall into that trap of like wanting success and money and women and the body and all that?
Well, with somebody like that, I think it's 50-50 because half of them are thirst trapping. I think there's a lot of women out there that are just there for the body. They're attracted to the guy.
You think so? I mean, you women, comment below. Do you follow guys just,
I'm sure
even though they're
do.
complete douchebags, the rest of them is just eye candy? That's interesting. That's not goes against how I think of women.
No, they definitely
Most women.
do. They
Okay,
definitely do.
comment below. Let's find out.
Yeah, we're surrounded by a lot of atypical women that don't do that, But there is a vast majority of those horn dogs, of those women that enjoy it. And they'll follow like some sort of Maluma looking guy just because they like his look or something like that. It's not necessarily
Well,
because
Maluma is also
I'm not saying no. I said Maluma looking guy, not Maluma because of his music.
Got it.
Some sort of Maluma looking Colombian guy because they like how he looks. Like I might not necessarily be doing anything. It's like aquí estoy en la playa con mi mamá, otra tarde otra amanecer con mi.
Like just a regular guy.
A regular guy. It might be a male model or something. Like why would you follow a male model?
Well, male model is different because I just feel like how douche. This is a good question. How douchey do you have to be before I unfollow you? Because yeah, you're good looking, but God, you're cringe, dude. You're.
I think I don't know. There's a line that and then some people don't
right
care.
Now, for men, the line is very low as far as like.
There's no line.
I don't care.
There's no line.
If she looks good, whatever, I'll follow her. She can be as ridiculous as possible, but. And of course, not all men. I'm generalizing here, but I think I don't know. I'm very curious. That's something I don't have an answer to.
That's something I don't have an answer to either because I'm not a woman. But I do see them, and I see the profiles that you think are like, oh my God, this guy's cringy, and you see heart eye emojis and heart, and you're like, okay, I guess people aren't seeing it or they can look past it because hey, the guy's that good looking or whatever. I don't know.
I think it begs the question as to. If you feel like I feel that most people can see through the facade, then why don't? Because I follow a lot of quote unquote influencers that like they keep it real. They'll criticize things like this. They are very honest and they're telling you what works, whether it's evidence based or like reality, and they don't try to project this image of themselves. But they don't have even a fraction of the amount of followers that this guy has. So are there less of us? Are there less people?
100%.
Or is it just that? By virtue of this is so extreme that it gets shared, whether it's for good or bad, and these people just like, what's the word, compound in their following and their influence.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both because you're definitely wrong in the sense that you think there's more of us that can sense that bullshit.
People that have common sense, no?
There's 1,000%, there's like 90% of people don't have that.
Are we in a bubble?
We're 100% in a bubble, and that's why you'll see like these knowledgeable influencers getting a little frustrated, like, oh, I've been posting consistently good information, data-driven information. I don't get a following. This douchebag dunks his head in a banana water, and he gets 12 million followers. So like, it's I can't imagine how frustrating it is to be putting your best effort. I could imagine it because we put our best effort into this, and
there you go.
You see, and we don't get the amount of views.
47 views, but we appreciate those.
Dunks his head in a banana water, and so it's like, should we be chasing those? What I call like the stupid views, or do you keep like stick to your morals and try to give valuable information and be that kind of influencer? That's a slippery slope because you want to
threading the needle is tough. I know some people that thread the needle, they play the game a little bit, but then they're gonna give it to you straight, like a Jeff Nippard type who is successful, but also when I say successful, I mean has a big following, but also keeps it real and gives it to you straight.
But his following didn't come like this guy's overnight that you
100%.
12 million. This guy's been posting 10 years of science-backed, like data-driven videos, long-form videos, which take them, I'm sure, months to make.
It takes a long time.
So, like, it's frustrating to, I imagine being Jeff Nippard and be like, okay, I've been doing this forever. This guy just blew up because he has good genetics and he made a stupid video.
Well, that was always the issue with Instagram, even since when we were posting a lot, where I was always like, wow, that person is growing 10 times as fast because they have a ridiculous physique, naturally. I want to add 2 points to what you just said because I think they're important. One, I've been following this creator on YouTube for a while. He makes like videos about philosophy and things like that. They're the antithesis of like the TikTok attention economy, right? They're 20-minute videos. They're slow. It'll be like it'll be like some nature background with some
or a
quotes
painting.
from an old Asian book or whatever, and very slow, very like about meaning and about philosophy and things like that. And he just announced that he's quitting basically after like 6 or 7 years. He's like, it's just the YouTube has become so competitive and so much about clickbait and so much about thumbnails and this and that exaggeration. He just can't really compete in that space anymore. And I guess it's affecting like his views and all stuff.
Sure, he doesn't want to compete with it.
Just don't want to. Yeah, I'm not gonna go down that road, so I'm quitting. And a lot of people are doing that. The other thing I want to say is that what's the worst about these type of influencers that portray this lifestyle is that like what my values are, what I think that young men should aspire to is very different from what this guy's putting out there. First of all, he's like, doesn't have a family, single, by himself, has some lady handing him shit. Like, who the hell do you think you are, dude? Like, to me, that's not what makes a man. And wakes up and has 5 hours to do. It's like, no, dude, sometimes you wake up, you gotta, responsibilities either to your household or to your wife or to your business or to your kid. It's messy. It doesn't look that way. Maybe you don't look like a freaking superstar because guess what? You can't be in a gym 6 days a week and have some lady handing you meals. Like, you're a real guy with real responsibilities. And I think that there's completely different values that don't look that cool on social media, that I believe in. So I don't think young men should be striving to be this guy at all.
And I think on that same note, that's a good point. And on that same note, you're giving these young men a false expectation of what a quote unquote successful man is, because they'll be looking at that when you're 17, 18, let's say, you're like,
this guy's
killing it. This guy's jacked. And he
probably gets so many girls.
He has a woman handing him shit. And he has doing this and that. He's drawing the little S on his journal. And he's doing all that stuff. And it's like, that's not what you should be portraying for these guys to follow, to emulate. If that guy were to say, I wake up and like you said, it's a little messy. Some days I don't feel like working out, so my workout looks like this.
And that's okay as long as you're consistent in the long run.
That's so much better than, look at me.
But that won't get as many views.
That won't get any views. So
and yeah, it's the same thing with like the Andrew Tates of the world. Like another guy that really blew up like beyond belief. And
so glad he's gone.
And it's one of those things where it's like a lot of people actually fell for it. Oh, but he makes some good points. Oh, but this and that. But look at the cars and the girls, and he has so much money. And it's like, that is the last person that you should be trying to emulate as a young person or as any age man.
And if you're a woman and you're falling for a guy like that, God bless you.
I mean, there's always gonna be.
God bless you. Like, you need some get help because that's not normal.
Yeah, I mean, he ran one of the largest cam girl operations, I think, in that space. So let's shift gears to what I think will be the future of content creation. I think that this is going to hit its peak if it hasn't already. And I think that people are gravitating towards more raw, real, less polished. I've even seen YouTubers that used to be the high-end camera, the production, all of that.
The intro.
That stuff is not hitting as hard anymore. Even Mr. Beast said that he was going to be focusing more on storytelling and things like that. And because he used to be the master of you have no attention, so every second I'm gonna switch the angle, switch it, color, this, that,
explosion,
face, people are like, oh,
sorry, I'm gonna cut that.
And now people are like, I'm over that. Like, I don't want to just be bombarded with stimulus the whole time. So
I think I'm hopeful that it goes that way, and there is evidence of that. But at the same time, I mean, look what just happened with this guy. Like, I sometimes I lose all hope in that because people are so aesthetically driven and they want the flashy thing and they want to see all that this guy's blown up, and people with that kind of production value and that kind of BS content, or what we call bullshit content, are still very popular. So do I have hope for the more raw, unfiltered? Of course I do. I follow a few people on YouTube that are like that, but then what I see as quote unquote popular is not that way at all.
But my pushback is, who cares about popularity? The Island Brothers or whatever were popular. No one respects them. They show up to a real...
Island Brothers?
What is the name? Island Boys? They show up to an event and people boo them.
Oh, no,
it's you're popular because you're a freaking loser. Yeah. You have tattoos on your face. Whoop-de-doo. So what I would say to somebody who is chasing popularity is don't chase popularity. Say something that's true to you, something that you're trying to achieve. Be very conscious with what the message that you're putting out. And if you're a business person trying to get people who are actually going to be interested in your business, you don't care. If we get a video that hits 2 million views from all over the world, is that going to make BeFit better? Not necessarily.
But I'm going to chase that, and I'm going to quit the podcast, and I'm rising to the top.
There you go. Baby. Just take your 15 minutes. But that's what I mean. It's I think it's a fool's game, to be honest with you. I think that the people that are slower growth, but they're keeping it real, are going to eventually see better results. And we've seen it with some of the people that we've been following for a long time that kept it real, and little by little, they didn't grow overnight, but they're doing very well. The other thing I wanted to say is, just because something has good production value doesn't mean it's shitty and flashy and whatever, overly manicured for no reason. There are people that started with a phone and then because they were good, they were giving out good information, ended up growing their business, now have a team, now have a better camera, and I put out really good information with really good production value.
Yeah, one thing does not have to mean the other.
Exactly. Obviously, there's a lot to discuss here, so let's keep it going in the comment section. What do you guys think?
Should I do a morning routine where I dip my face in cafecito? Let us know, comment. If I get 100 comments, I say yes, I'll do it.
I think it's incredible the amount of people that copied it, like for clout or
God, that's so
mentioned it.
cringy. I
the
also
next
I
day, even
hate
Mr.
that.
Beast.
I hate that, or like companies that started doing it, like
Yep.
Duolingo
McDonald's put
or
something
McDonald's or
out.
one of those. Like once they do it, you know it's dead.
It's
Like,
dead.
Ugh.
Yep. And sorry for putting this out 2 weeks late, but
Sorry for cussing.
we do these in advance. You know, we're responsible.
We're
We
responsible
film
adults.
these way in advance.
We don't have time for a morning routine. We have clients at 6 a.m.
Definitely not.
With that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Be Fit Brothers podcast. Tune in next week where I'll be dunking Juna's face into the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
That dong's donging.